Hello, everyone. This is Jack Bosch speaking with another episode of the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Podcast. I'm super excited to have you here with my guest today, who we're going to introduce in just a second. We're going to talk about teaching real estate. We're going to talk about flipping houses, rehabbing houses. We're going to talk about flipping land. We're going to talk about some larger projects that he's been doing because he has been doing it all for many, many years. He's been a second-generation real estate investor here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I happen to live too. And well, if you're interested in hearing about what's the difference between land flipping, house flipping, rehabbing, and what area you should be focusing on, then you're at the right place.
Welcome to the Forever Cash Life Real Estate Investing Podcast with your hosts, Jack and Michelle Bosch. Together, let's uncover the secrets to building true wealth through real estate and living a purpose-driven life.
Okay, and here we are back, and I want to introduce my guest. My guest today is Mr. the one and only Jeff Fassett. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jack.
Wonderful. It's actually funny. We realized that he should have asked you to come over to the house because we live only literally less than 2 miles away from each other. Yeah. And instead, we're on Zoom here when we could have done this together. But you know what? We're going to add another one of those. Just next time you come over, we put up the cameras, and we do a second kind of video podcast at that point of time. How does that sound?
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, wonderful. Well, introduction. Jeff Fassett, you have been in real estate for pretty much almost your life, right? I mean, yes, you went to school and college and all those things, but your dad is in real estate flipping. And tell us, when did you when did you start with real estate investing?
Well, I graduated college, and then I got my real estate license in 2001, and just worked as an agent for quite a while. And then in 2008, 9, we started doing a lot of houses, flipping a lot of houses during the boom. Then I became a real estate broker. We bought a brokerage in 2009, and then so we were doing a lot of houses back then. And then I think I ran into you 2011 maybe at a RIA. Uh-huh. And we thought, oh, that sounds interesting. You know, if we can do some land deals here and there. And so we played around with it for a while before we did. Back in the day, you used to do some coaching where we'd come to your house. I don't know if you remember those days.
I do remember that. We no longer do that. But yes, we would put tables in our living room, and we just sit around our living room and network and mastermind and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of fell into the first few deals, and we'd make similar money that we were doing on a flip, but we weren't in it very much, and we weren't exposed as much. We didn't have to coordinate so many things. And so over the years, we transitioned from doing. We still do a few houses, but the nice thing is now we can cherry pick the houses. We don't have to do the houses. So we for example, right now we've got one up in Cave Creek. We bought for about 120. We'll be in it for about 80,000, and we just put it on the market for 335.
All right.
So now we can focus on just doing really, really nice big ones instead of having to do a couple a month.
Awesome. Now, how big is your team?
Well, I've got it's me, and then I have Michael is in the office here. I've got a virtual assistant that helps with some of the lists and that, and then my sister was a copyright editor for a magazine before she got married. So she does all of our some of our social media and posting. So I guess 5 maybe, and then I've got my dad still helps, but he's semi-retired. He's I guess the elder statesman. Advisor.
That would be a good description of Darl, yes, of your dad.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good game.
Yeah, they're throwing an epic 4th of July party. That's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that is great. So you have been transitioning from houses to land. What made you add land to the housing business?
Well,
Other than thinking it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of doing land and we've transitioned, or we've done a couple development pieces now, which is kind of a new wrinkle to some of the options of land. I mean, the nice thing about it is you can go almost anywhere with it, and so we just saw that especially the lower end stuff, we can buy something for $10,000 and flip it for 40 or 50. We make a better return than if we do this house. If we buy a house for 200 and we put 25,000 in it, and then we sell it for 275, we're making similar margins, but I don't have $230,000 exposed on that, so that's one big piece. We like doing it remotely. And so a lot of times it's a pretty cool feeling, as when you buy a piece and you sell a piece and you never left your office to go look at it. So that's something a little bit unique with land that you can get away with versus houses where you've got to be on site, or you have to have a crew that you trust to babysit. So that's
Absolutely.
another thing that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool. Now tell us about, let's say, one of your craziest land deals or house deals anyway that you have done.
Oh man, there's a lot. I don't know. It's
Well, let's pick a crazy land deal first.
Well, we did one. We sold it on seller finance. So we bought one for $45,000. It ended up having a manufactured home on it, but we got it through the normal, just selling a neutral, sending the neutral letter, talking to the person, and it was in a company that had gone. They had dissolved the company years ago, and so it took about 4 months to close by the time we tracked down the officers in that the company that had been settled. And so anyways, we got it. It was a 25-acre parcel. We split it off, so we have 2 6.5-acre parcels, a 4-acre parcel that we had to give away, and then the one main parcel that we sold on terms. They put $20,000 down for $125,000, so they're making payments. And of all people, they're bee farmers, and so they only get paid once a year. So it's pretty interesting. This time of year, they make an extra $10,000 payment, and then they asked us if it was okay if they prepaid the entire year of the payments. And so they drop $25,000 in our lap every year in April, and so it's a pretty interesting deal. So that was one that was more recent, and we got some free honey out of it. So when we met them to sign all the stuff, they wanted to come meet us. They brought us a whole bunch of fresh raw honey. So that was kind of a bonus too.
You should negotiate that into the deal as an annual thing. When you send the money, keep $50 and send me a batch of honey.
Right. Yeah. No, they were happy to do it. And it's good honey. It's just the mesquite, whatever honey. But so that was a recent one that it was kind of confusing on the front end too to get it all settled out because we had to track down all these extra people. And then on the back end selling it was a seller financing deal, but it's a little bit unique in terms of that. How
did you sell this property? Where did you find the buyer?
They were off of I don't know where they came from. We had a sign on it. We drove down there and put a sign on it because it was a higher end property. We wanted to go look at the deal. We do a lot on Marketplace and Zillow. I don't remember. I don't remember where they
Okay, no problem. It's been perhaps a little bit. And now also one of the things I wanted to ask you, since we know each other well, I know for some of your deals, you're also part of our Ultimate Boardroom Mastermind. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was you have also tried or worked on or advanced a couple of development deals, and you had mentioned that just a second ago. So how is that different, or is that kind of like a growth path that you have been going through, that first flipping and then now taking some lots and taking them a step further? Or what's your thinking behind those? Yeah,
on those we just it's the same process, and then when we get the lot and we start looking at it, we do the comps and we make the offers. We look at some different exit strategies, and sometimes it seems like it works out to be a better play to maybe develop it a little bit or rezone it or split it. I know you've done a lot of the splits to help maximize the exit strategy. And so, we've got one out in Western Maricopa County that was just a little lot we bought for $3,000. And we probably could have sold it pretty quick for about 10, maybe 15. But it was in a mobile home gardens. And so we decided to put a manufactured home on it and do all that and, that whole process. So we're in that for about 85, and we've got that on the market right now for 125. And so we felt like those numbers made enough sense to go through the development and, get all the utilities and everything hooked up. We've done some rezoning, we've done some of that stuff, and a lot of stuff, we don't target that necessarily, but it just comes as a product of talking with the sellers and figuring out what the best exit strategy might be.
And that's exactly what I'm going to. So when people get into our program, the Land Profit Generator, link would be below. If people get into the Land Profit Generator, we're teaching this one way because we want people to understand, to get the first few deals done, that following that one proven way that is done, that's created almost over 4,000 deals for us, right? And how many deals a year do you do right now?
Well, it's funny. We're trying to scale back. So if I can do about 5 deals a month, that's my sweet spot. That's what our goal is every month. For a while there, we were trying to do a lot more, and then we decided that we're wasting too much time on little deals. Only making $5,000 or $6,000 a deal. So we're trying to make a minimum of 10, but closer to 15 every deal, just to, because we've talked about this and through the coaching too. The little deals are just as much work or more. The buyers tend to be needier than the people that are buying properties for $20,000 or $30,000. And so we've shifted our whole model, instead of trying to do a lot of volume, to just do 5 deals a month that have nice returns on it.
Wonderful. But the nice part is, by doing quality versus quantity, and again, there's different paths. Wherever people start, when you started, you did whatever came your way, right? And then you added volume, and after a while you see like, oh no, if I focus on like 5 deals a month that are high quality, $15,000 plus deals, then you can do the math, right? That's $75,000 a month. If I can focus on those, then I will actually have some bandwidth to take some deals that have a potential to be much bigger and actually spend some time on those, right, and make those into true home runs of like $50,000 to $100,000 or more profit. So it's a very smart way to go about business that especially after you have some experience is a natural way to do it. So often our students, they want to jump into that right away, and we tell them, no, go follow the steps right now. Get your first 3, 4, 5, 10 or 10 deals done. And then once you got that done and you have that, it becomes second nature. Now go and do some of these things. And you're the living example of that, having done that obviously in many different ways. And you do the same thing in the housing world now. You don't probably wholesale houses for $5,000 anymore. You go rehab the ones that can make you $130,000, like the one.
Right, that's the plan. Yeah. So that's it's been a nice transition, and then we try to, one of the other goals that we have is the 5 just pedestrian type deals, and then we try to hit one big one a quarter. Whether that's we've got one right now we're buying it for, we have it under contract for $197,000, and I've got a buyer potentially, if the power situation works out, for about $400,000. So
nice.
If I can do one of those a quarter, and then the normal deals for the deal flow and cash flow, that's our target. And it's been, like you were saying, it's taken some time off the table, so I can focus on doing other stuff.
Right, and that makes sense. Sometimes the deals you don't do are sometimes the deals that help you to actually grow. People are always very afraid. People are always very afraid of losing something, but like they're doing one thing and it works, great. But if you pull back from that, they're feeling like, oh my God, they're leaving something on the table. But it actually opens your bandwidth and your eyes and your mind for bigger and greater possibilities. Right.
Yeah, no, it's like what you put out there. If you if you start looking for those bigger deals or being more open to them, they seem to appear. There's always the little deals. I mean, I don't know. I posted something in the group the other day. I don't know if you saw it. It was cracking me up. This is funny. So
that's another crazy deal. Yes, tell us about that one.
So it's a little deal. I think we bought it for, I don't know, about $1,500. We sold to the guy for what did we sell it for? $5,000, $6,000. So it was a little deal, but he was a return customer. And he had lost the other piece in his divorce, and the wife just let it go to taxes because she just didn't want him to have it. And so he found this property. So he had this cash. He wanted to come meet us. So I said, all right, that's fine. I don't usually meet people, but he was in Phoenix here. So then he came over to our P.O. box area. So he pulls up in this Honda car, like an old Honda with no hood on it. And I'm like, what is going on? And he gets out, and his hands are all like, he was like a mechanic, so they're all black. And he's got, black on his all disheveled, and he gets out with his bag of money. He starts counting out this bag of money, and it's fives and tens. There's a couple hundreds in there, and he does his down payment. But it was cracking me up with the people
I saw that. When you were referring to posting it, Jeff is obviously part of our Land Profit Generator real estate group in Facebook, and saw that post there. I already screenshotted it, and I already told
was hilarious. I was dying.
Love that story.
I was like, I feel bad taking his hood money to buy the property almost.
Hey, that's right. You didn't take it. He wanted to invest, right? He wanted to invest, and he's going to make monthly payments, and he's going to eventually. I think I look at it a completely different way. Now that he's divorced, now that he's trying he's getting his new deal himself. By the time that he's paid that thing off, he probably has bought himself his retirement place.
Yeah.
Because if he can't afford a new hood, do you think he can afford a decent retirement place?
Yeah.
Probably not. So we're really providing a service on the bottom end of these properties to people that don't otherwise have a chance of actually ever getting into property ownership. And it's a beautiful thing, because now down the road, perhaps you can move a mobile home on there, connect it to utilities, and for another $5,000 or $10,000 in addition to the $6 or $7 or $8 that they paid you, he ends up having a place that's free and clear on a property that's free and clear, that he can have a dignified retirement at some point of time.
Yeah. No, he's a real nice guy, and he's happy. He's excited about it. I'm happy for him. But it just cracked me up. He rolled up in a.
Yeah, that was very funny. Great. So Jeff, what is your goals? What are your goals? Why are you doing this? Why are you investing in real estate?
Well, I think it's like anything. I mean, I want to build a lifestyle. I mean, I've definitely transitioned a little bit more into a lifestyle. So we're real active with the kids. We've got 2 kids. One's 9.5, and our daughter's almost 7. And so. To be able to coach their baseball teams and their stuff is important to me, and just be able to do it from not be burdened with a 9-to-5 type of job are the biggest things. I mean, and being able to invest in something that's fun, and you get to still deal with people for the most part that are quality people, are the biggest things. I mean, financially it's great. I mean, it's rewarding, and building up, cash flow with the financing and then the bigger deals, and then potentially, be able to put a, manufacturer, a mobile home park or RV park on the right piece of land if we can come across that and create some forever cash, as you like to call it. Mm-hmm. Are most of the goals. And then, I started coaching. I don't know. Almost 2 years ago, I guess, at this point, right?
Yeah, Jeff is a mentor or coach in our organization, and that's actually the next area I wanted to ask you about. So you came aboard for that, and have been teaching a lot of people, bringing a lot of people to success, and a lot of our students to success. What made you want to be a coach? What made you want to be a mentor? What made you continue want to be that? Obviously, financially, you get paid, of course, for it, but financially, what is your deals are more profitable? So what is it that coaching does for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's I kind of have a giver's mindset in terms of there's a fly. The mindset to try to give back to the community that's given me a lot, and I actually coached. I went back to school and got a master's in education and coached and taught. I taught high school for about a year and a half. I said, that's enough of, this coaching. Yes. Coaching the kids was awesome because they're all motivated and they're they want to be there. But then you get into a general classroom and there's people that, they just don't want to be there. It's a hard mix. And so that's where I dove back into real estate full time. And so to be able to give back and help people go along the journey is great. And the people that are in the program are all motivated and they want to do well, and they take the coaching and the suggestions and the steps seriously, and they go implement it. And so it's like dealing with athletes again in terms of people that want to go out and actually make something happen. And so it's a fun place to do it. So. Sorry,
Plus, it's fun. I bet it's fun to be able to say, I'm the guy that brought them to their first deal and got it started.
Right. Yeah, so that's a huge reward, is to see them having success in the program. And so, you get a lot of people that are afraid to make an offer, or they don't know how to comp it out, or afraid to get an offer accepted, because then what are they going to do? They got to buy a property, and then going through the marketing and all that stuff. So helping somebody go from zero experience, or a lot of people already have a lot of experience, but not with the land or not with the program. And so being able to help even those higher level people take their business to the next level has been really great. And it's rewarding for me just to be able to impart some knowledge that I've gained over the last almost 20 years in real estate now. It seems, I don't feel like I'm old enough to have 20 years of real estate.
That's beautiful. And that's obviously aligns with our core values, which, by the way, I always have been printed right here. So our core values are driven company. We make every major decision or minor decision. Every decision is driven by our core values. And obviously that's exactly that. Like we take pleasure out of helping people, and we're on a mission to help other people. We have a mission to create 1,000 millionaires, and obviously, Jeff, you're a big part of that. So let me ask you then one other question is, like, what do you see is the biggest hurdle that coaching students, or your particular coaching students, or every coaching students that you've seen, that they are struggling with to overcome, or that they work the hardest to overcome in order to get them to success?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of areas. One is staying consistent. And so I know that, even when I started, I would send out a bunch of letters, I'd get the calls, I'd do the research, I'd do the offers, and I'd look up, it was a month and a half down the road and I hadn't sent any more letters. And so that whole pipeline was full. And so helping people just stay consistent, even if it's a smaller number every month, I think is a big turning point. But oddly, it's just getting to go, getting that first mailer out seems to be a big mental hurdle. And then it is always fun. I just had some new students come on, and they're like, we got calls back from the letter. Like, they were shocked. They couldn't believe, people actually called them back. And so that's a fun conversation to have. And like, yeah, they actually do.
Told you it would happen.
Yeah. So the big hurdle is having confidence to put a number on the property. That seems to be a hurdle, and a lot of students, a lot of people, initially coming into the property or the program or into the land, don't have a real firm or confident grasp on how to value properties, and they think that they need to figure out the value exactly. So, like, I know, with houses, you can't afford to miss by 10%. But on land, if you missed by 10%, you're still, you still have 40 or 50, 60% left in that deal to still sell it under value. So having a lot of new people in the program spend way too much time trying to figure out values. I'll talk to somebody and they're like, I don't know how you do so many properties. I had 10 calls and it took me all day to figure out the values on them. I'm like, why? You're doing too much research at that point. But so that's a big hurdle. And then sending out the offers and maybe not having that cash to close is another psychological hurdle. That if they do get it accepted, what are they going to do? And of course, there's a lot of exit strategies there in terms of double close or assigning the contract or bringing in a money partner. So that's all stuff you can worry about once you get the contract accepted. So those seem to be the biggest hurdles that I see that.
And they almost go into the same direction of somebody wanting to know that all the lights are green before they start driving.
Right.
And with my students, that's exactly the analogy I always use by saying, like, hey, listen, if you want to go from wherever you are to the other side of the country, if you're in LA, you want to go to Miami by car, you're not going to wait until all the lights are green. As a matter of fact, if you want to go to your favorite bar that's 2 miles away, you're not going to wait until all the lights are green, right? You're just going to go light after light. And each red light is kind of a little hurdle or a little milestone that you have to go, like, okay, what do I do now? And then you solve that and the light turns green and you continue, right? And you can do that in yourself, or you can do that with the help of a mentor. Obviously, the mentor is going to show you where all the lights already tend to go green quickly, or they help you make those lights green quickly by solving those issues. Alone, when Michelle and I started, we figured this out. It took us 3 years to figure this out. now we have students that do 60 deals in 6 months, right? So
Right.
it's not even comparable. So, and it's because they understand that with a mentor they get there much faster. So yeah, it's that mentality that, oh well, I don't know all the answers yet. Well, of course you don't know all the answers. You're gonna get the answers as we go along, because particularly when you work with somebody who's already who does like 60, 70, 80 deals a year, then the answers are in your mentor's head. And instead of just like overwhelming you with all the answers in the first call, you're just getting the answers as the questions arise, right?
Right.
And that's obviously the most efficient way to go about it. But very cool. So for somebody who is not yet, or just is thinking about this land stuff versus house stuff versus whether you should start in real estate, what would you tell them? You who have done a lot of different things.
Oh, well, the land is probably the lowest barrier of entry, out of anything in terms of ease to get a deal. I know a lot of people, and I would bet this is true for you, but the first property we purchased was less than $2,000. Back in the day, and we still do quite a few properties that, although like I said, we're phasing a lot of those out, but we still have some on the books that we purchased for less than a couple grand, that are worth $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000. So it's easy to get started. And so, I'd be willing to pay for, a quicker route to success. And so, basically by paying to have a coach or a mentor, because it's not complicated. It's that the system isn't complicated, but it sure speeds things up when you've got somebody that knows what the deal looks like or should look like, or can see trouble on the horizon or anticipate where you should be doing something or posting something or how to answer a question, instead of you trying to figure it out and then getting frustrated and then, shelving the whole program for a year or two and then coming back to it because it was still a good idea. So, the nice thing about the land too is you don't have to have a real estate license. And so, anybody can do it. And with the surgence of Zillows and those land watch and places where you can find values, you don't have to use the MLS, to find properties or to price them out. It's actually kind of funny. So I'm a broker, obviously, and we probably don't list very many of my own properties on the MLS because it's not very efficient in terms of selling it. So the methods that we're using outside of the MLS are actually better than using the MLS. So
same thing here. I actually have a license too. Actually, I have my license with you.
Right.
You're actually my broker, as you know.
Yep.
Of course. And I don't think I remember the last time we put one of our land deals on the actual MLS. We just sold a property in South Phoenix, like in our MLS area, and it came from Facebook, right? It came from Facebook or Craigslist, where somebody bought the property and it's going to be a 6-figure profit on that deal. So I agree with you. So don't be afraid. You don't have to have a license. And obviously it's a simpler way to go about it. So with that, thank you very much, Jeff. So what is your plans for the summer right now? What are you going to do?
Well, we're going to Hawaii, as you know. We're gonna.
Yes, in our Ultimate Boardroom, our mastermind is meeting in July in Hawaii.
Yep. Yes. So we're gonna go out five days early, I think, to Hawaii and stay there, and then head over to the other island there for the boardroom, and then we always go up to Telluride up in Colorado, southern Colorado, for a week, just to get out of the heat. And so we're gonna try to get up to the Flagstaff House as much as we can, and try to beat the heat a little bit. It's and the nice thing is I can do deals from any one of those locations. So I've got it's nice to be remote and still be able to get things done.
I agree with you. How couldn't we agree with you more? We're doing the same thing. We're heading out right now, and we're heading out to Hawaii. Then we're heading out to Europe. Then we're heading back up to Hawaii. Then the summer break is over, and then we kind of like gotta be here because our daughter goes to school, and your kids, of course, too. But summer is always our traveling time. So, and this is the beautiful thing. And then if a deal comes up that needs my involvement, we can do it from anywhere in the world, because when you're dealing with land, you don't have to have somebody inspect the roof. All right, so very cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing you one of these days here around the house. We just moved into his neighborhood, so we moved like 2 miles away from you, Jeff. So still, there's always a good cold beer and some wine and some whiskey waiting here. You're in the house of a German. There's always going to be some booze,
Sure.
some drinks there. Looking forward to having you over, and then we do our second live video here. We just have a chat about some of the things we're doing right now. Last question. What do you see the real estate market doing in the next year?
Oh, man, that's a good one. It's we've been really busy this last 6-8 months, a year. I think it's pretty stable. I mean, it feels, at least in the Phoenix market, it feels really like a balanced market. And so there's still a lot of deals out there. There's a lot of growth happening. Hopefully there's a lot of new development that's coming. And I think if you can buy the properties at the right price, you're set up pretty well to do well. And there's still a lot of people that are willing to sell, even though it's a pretty good market. We're still buying properties for pennies on the dollar. So it's been
exactly right. Wonderful. Great finalizing off the call. Thank you very much. Say hello to Kate. Say hello to the kids.
Yeah.
We are with that ending the call and ending this video. It's great to see you. You see again another house flipper who over the time as he discovered land flipping has realized that land flipping is actually simpler, less money exposed, less red tape, less involvement, less rehab, less contractors, or none of them for that matter, and the same profits. And he's tweaked his business such that he does a tremendous amount of profit and volume there, 5-6 deals a month, 5 deals a month, plus once a quarter, a really big deal. If you added up the numbers, you can figure out that this is a lucrative business to be in. So thank you very much, Jeff.
All right,
thank you for being on the call. Next time, again, you and I together, we'll do it as a live video potentially. And then have a great weekend. Have a great summer, and I'll see you very soon over at my house. And with that, everyone, have a great rest of the day. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, give us a thumbs up, leave some comments below, share it on social media, share it, tag friends, forward it over to them. If you're listening to this on iTunes, make sure you give us a 5-star review and actually put a text on there. More and more, the more reviews we have, the more reach we can have, and the more people we can tell about this amazing way of doing real estate. With that, thank you very much. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, thanks, Jack.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Enjoyed this episode? Then make sure you like, subscribe, and post your comments and questions below the video. We're looking forward to hearing from you.